Are you ready to get started with your self-portrait? All right, you're gonna need a piece of paper, a pencil, and an eraser, and that should be good for a start. I'm gonna use this that's not a piece of paper, it's more like a whiteboard like your teacher uses, and a marker just so you can see it. But you should find a paper and pencil in case you need to erase. If you need to pause the video while you find your supplies, go ahead and do that. Okay, welcome back. Hopefully you have everything you need. So I have here with me today my paper, but I also have a picture of my kids. This is Jillian and this is Kyton, and they're gonna be our models so that we have a real person to look at. Now, you're gonna draw your self-portrait, so you can adjust as you need to make this look like you. The first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna draw the shape of our head. So let's think about how that would look. And I love that we have these pictures because we can see how a real head, like a portrait, how they look. So if I trace their head, I'm gonna go a little lower on my son because his hair stands up. What shape do we see? I see kind of an oval or an egg shape. So on your paper, let's make a big emphasis on the big oval or egg or head shape, like that. If you make a tiny little thing in the middle, we don't have room to do anything with it to add detail. So let's keep it big, like what you see here. If you made one small in the first place, you can always flip your paper over and make a nice big one. Okay, so the next thing let's do is draw our eyes. Now it's an easy and common mistake to put our eyes way up here. But that's not where our eyes are, that's where our forehead is, right? So let's look at our photograph and see where our eyes really belong. So if I take this picture of my daughter and I were to draw a line right where her eyes are, can you see that her eyes are actually right in the middle of her head? It's about halfway. So if I'm looking at my drawing, I'm gonna put my eyes right about here. And the first shape I'm gonna make, I'm gonna do her eye, is like a sideways parenthesis, like a very slightly curved line. So that's the top of her eye. I made another one for her left eye. So now we're gonna go to the corner and we're gonna make another curved line and they're gonna meet at the edges. Some people would call this an almond shaped, like our eyes have an almond shape to them. See, if I erase this and I drew around Jillian's eyes, see, they have an almond shape. Now, the part in the middle, the colored part, does anybody know what that's called? It's called an iris, and it's a perfect circle, but sometimes our eyelid covers up a little bit of it. So I won't make hers. We won't see quite all of it, but that's the part of your eye that is blue or green or brown. And in the middle of that, we're gonna have a real black dot, and that's called your pupil. And your pupil actually gets bigger or smaller to let in more light. Like if it's getting dark outside, your pupil will get bigger to let in more light. Fun little fact. Okay, how about let's do our nose next? So let's go back to our photograph. And if we draw a line back through our eyes, and we draw a little curved line here for a nose, look, it's about halfway between her eyes and her chin is gonna be that curve of a nose. So if I take this space on my picture between my eyes and my chin, I'll have a little curve of a nose right in the middle. And we'll go back to our picture. And if we want, you don't have to, but you could draw the bridge of a nose, this line here. We could come and show the side or the bridge of her nose. Now, above her eyes, let's not forget her eyebrows or the eyebrows. This could be a boy just as well as it could be a girl. um, they go above the eyes like this. And eyebrows are super important because they show emotion and mood a lot. So just for fun, watch what happens if I make my eyebrows different. Watch. If I put my eyebrows at an angle like this, oh, all of a sudden my person is mad, right? I just made them mad, put their eyebrows different. Let's try the other way. What if I put them kind of off to the side and up high? I think now my person looks kind of worried or maybe a little upset. So our eyebrows are important. We shouldn't forget eyebrows when we're drawing. So I'm going to draw them back about normal. You might want to make them a little thicker or thinner depending on how your eyebrows look. I'll make these ones a little thicker. If you want, you could put a nostril, just a smaller curved line for a nostril. Okay, let's go back to our photograph and figure out where our mouth should be. So if I'm gonna go easy and I'm gonna pretend our mouth is closed, even though it's not in the picture. If I draw a mouth on my picture, it's about halfway between the end of my nose and my chin. Maybe a little bit higher than that, but not much. And a mouth also shows emotion. So I'm gonna give my mouth a little curve, like my person is happy. Okay, but my mouth is missing something. I want lips. Everybody has lips, right? So they might seem tricky, but I bet you can do them just fine. You just need to think of hills or mountains. So if I start at the corner and I go, whoop, whoop, look, I made two little hills and now I have lips. Do you hear my birds? I have a parakeet in here that's making sweet little sounds. Maybe that's why this person is happy. All right, now the bottom lip, I just started on one side and I came down and over. Almost think like you're making a boat and you have a mouth. Okay, what else do we need? Right now, I have a floating head, right? This head has nothing attaching it to anything. So let's add a neck. And it's common for people to make the mistake of making a skinny little pencil neck. Don't do that. That looks silly, huh? Our heads are big and we need pretty strong, wide necks to hold up our head. So they come about from the sides of our head and then we go off to the side to make shoulders. We just curve off to the side to make shoulders. Now, shoulders tend to be about the width of your head. And we don't have that much room on our paper, so we'll just go all the way off the edge of our paper. Okay, I'm gonna show you a quick trick, how to get dressed in record time. Are you ready? 1, 2, 3. Whoop! Look, our person suddenly has a shirt on. And if I wanna make it a t-shirt, I could do another line and add the little stripes for like the ribs that go around your collar if you wear a t-shirt. So you can make a t-shirt if you want. Okay, let's think about our ears. So I think on our picture over here, it's easier if I show my son because look, my daughter's hair covers her ears up. And if your hair covers your ears, maybe you don't need to draw them, but it is good to know where they go. So let's look at that. So let's trace my son's ears and let's see where they go. Looks like the top of your ears is right a little bit above your eyebrows. And the bottom is, almost as long as your nose. So let's see. If I go make a backward letter C, starting about the eyebrows and another backward letter C, I have ears, yay! Okay, it looks to me like it's time for hair. And hair is something, everybody's hair is different, right? You might look in the mirror and see, do you have bangs? Does your hair, see, my daughter does not have bangs. Her hair just goes off to the side. But some people have bangs, her hair's straight, maybe your hair's curly. My son's hair goes like straight up, hers goes all down. So our hair is something that makes us all look different from each other, which is kind of fun. So let's start out drawing the long hair, okay? And if we look at my daughter's hair, it starts out covering part of her forehead. So if I'm going to draw that here, now we have to decide, oh look, I'm not going to need ears if I'm drawing her. So I'm going to come down here on her forehead, and then I'll draw her part. This is where her hair parts. And I'll come up a little. Her hair goes a little above her head. And it comes down in front of her shoulder in our picture. So guess what? Here's where my eraser comes in. I'm going to erase her shoulder here. And her hair is going to come down and cover that. And I'm going to erase this ear because her hair is covering it up. And I'm going to erase this part of the top of her head because her hair is covering it up. And voila, now I can draw a few lines to show the way her hair flows. Okay, just for fun, on the other side, look, now she's got one half hair. On the other side, let's put her hair behind her ear. It's not that way in the picture, but we'll do it that way for now. So if it went behind her ear, it might come down a little and behind her ear. And then maybe let's go also behind her shoulder on this side. So I'm going to stop when I get to her shoulder. And I'll come up here. I'll make another line. Now there's not a gap here, is there? There's hair all the way because it grows on the back of her head. So I'm just going to make some lines to show like her hair went behind her ear. Now this is a line I think I'll remove because that was the top of her head that is covered in hair. And I'll put some longer lines to show how her hair goes. And there we have a girl, or a very long-haired boy, with hair behind one ear and shoulder, and all in front of one ear and shoulder on the other side. Okay? So now, should we do somebody with short hair? All right, here goes. Bye-bye hair. Going to the barber shop. Cut it all off and go back to being bold for a minute here. Okay. So, I got rid of that hair. Now let's get our head back. Gotta quick get our head back to show the other ways of doing this. So here's a head, here's our neck, here's our shoulder, and our shirt, and our shoulder, and our shirt. Okay, and we'll put an ear here. Okay, so now if we look at my son's hair, look at this. It goes on top of his ear just a tad, and then we see hair, his hairline on his forehead, covers up his other ear a little, and then we have the hair that goes up above his head because his hair kind of sticks up. And then we won't need this line to show where his head is because hair's covering it up. So let's try it on our whiteboard or on your paper if you want. So I'm going to cover up part of his ear, and I'll make a hairline along his forehead. And then I'm going to put his hair up above because here his hair kind of sticks up in the back like that. Okay, now I can't see the top of his head, so I'm going to erase that. Okay, and I'm going to erase the tops of his ears because they're covered by his hair. But he looks a little like he's wearing a helmet, doesn't he? So let's add some lines to show which way his hair goes. Just some curved lines. See how his hair kind of goes one direction, and then about in here it starts to go the other direction. Oh, there we go. And here it kind of splits. So now look, we went from a long-haired person to a short-haired person. What if we had a medium-haired person? What if somebody had, like, they call it a bob, I think. If you just kind of cut it off straight above your shoulders. Have a bob. All right. Oh no, this might look more like a mullet than a bob, but you see we've got another hairstyle here. What about if you have your hair tied back and you have, let's say, a bun or a ponytail? I think a bun sounds kind of fun. What if we did a bun? All right, let's see. I'm gonna Draw the neck back. We already have short hair. I could just leave that alone. Maybe I draw a bun and I give it some lines to show that I've got hair on top of my head. Okay, so let's see, one last one. Let's do curly hair. We have, let's put this person's forehead back or their head back. Okay, and we can choose ears or not ears. Let's see, I'll leave them there and decide. So if we had curly hair, maybe it would look something like this on our forehead. Right? Maybe go down to here and maybe it stick a little above our head. All right. Now I've got, look, here I've got it behind the ear, here I've got it covering up the ear. So I'm going to erase the top of this head. And now I have curly hair. Now our curly hair might have a part, so maybe I still put in a part, but maybe the hair that I put from it, I show more waves and curls, right? So I don't do straight lines, I do curlier lines. There we go. That looks like wavy hair. If we had super curly hair, maybe we would, you know, do it more like this. So that's up to you. And basically, once you're done with your hair, you're done with your drawing. And if you want, you can find colors and you can color this in. Now, you'll probably notice, like we did, that there aren't, in most crayons and colored pencils, there aren't a lot of good skin colors. So you can leave your skin white if you want, just don't color it, or you can choose one of the ones that they have. It's just they tend to have like yellow and pink, and those aren't really natural colors, but hey, it's okay. We're just doing a drawing. And then you could look in the mirror if you don't know and say, oh, well, I've got green eyes or I have brown eyes, and color them in. My kids here both have brown eyes, so if I was doing them, I would color the iris brown like this. And I covered up my pupil, so I'm gonna put it back. There's my pupil. Sometimes you might even erase out a little shiny spot, like there's a reflection in your eye. That looks kind of cool. And maybe you want to paint your lips and your hair, or not paint, but color in, and you'll have a lovely self-portrait. And don't forget, if you want, you can practice with your brothers or sisters or moms, dads, grandparents, anybody you want. You can draw different people, and people all look different. Maybe you have, you know, maybe you have a parent, or maybe you wear glasses. So you can draw glasses. Oh, there goes my birdies again. Here, I'll put a pair of glasses on our person. And look, over the nose, usually it's a little curve right here. And then the side pieces go into the hair. So you could even add glasses. So enjoy embellishing your person, and thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you had fun. I sure did. And let's go have an art-filled week.